prosecution was based upon a conversation that this defendant had with Ty Troughton at the time he was arrested on March 15. I'm not sure that's exactly. This entire prosecution is premised on that tape recording. And the state wants to pick and choose out of what was said in that one. And that's not fair. If you read or listen to the conversation between Lieutenant Troughton and this defendant, you will hear this defendant tell Lieutenant Troughton that he counseled against his two co-defendants involving themselves in this activity. Now that counseling might have been based more on practicalities than it might have been based on some kind of moral concept, but he counseled them against it. He also told Lieutenant Troughton that he counseled them against performing a robbery when it was supposed to be something like a purse snatching or larceny from the person. I'm not suggesting for a second that the defendant didn't then involve himself, and he should not have done that sort of thing. Finally, if it's premised on his statement to Lieutenant Troughton, his statement to Lieutenant Troughton was, I was not shooting at the guy, I was shooting at a tire. I don't know if the court's ever had the experience of shooting a pistol, but the evidence in this case was shown that he was a very long ways from Mr. Smith when that gun was fired, and there is no human being on this planet that could hit a guy intentionally from the distance that shot was fired. That shot had to be accidental. Now, whether he should have shot or not is a whole separate question. The problem is that the entire stupid sequence of events has to do with drugs, from start to finish. That's all this was about. Ms. Pangburn and Mr. Smith thought that they could peddle drugs and could do anything they wanted. They stole money from people. If you read the preliminary hearing transcript, they were completely oblivious to the fact of whether or not the people who paid them money got them drugs or that they were selling drugs. That was what this was about, was one of the other juveniles determining that this was a good idea because he was provided no remedy under law. That's just the way the stupid world works. If you're going to sell drugs, one of the things you have to expect is if you beat somebody out of some money, they can't go talk to a lawyer or come to a court. All that's left is physical violence. And I'm not suggesting that excuses Mr. Oppenhein, but I am suggesting that's the world that he lived in. And he was 17, just turned to 18 years old, and he had no means. Nobody, that's not true. They get in these stupid things, they do exactly what Mr. Menicucci said. All of a sudden, they don't have anybody to talk to. The people that have been counseling are gone.